What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 88, being recorded on October 21st, 2020, and we are 9 days away from Mandalorian Season 2. And we are here in line, and we have a special guest that joined us in line today. And before we introduce him, let me get the guys going here. I am your host, Darth Moocher. We're joined here with, where is he? Right there. On my screen, he's this way. Chris, our dad 77. There you go. I have to get this orientation right because it's opposite.
Well-oiled machine today, Marco. Well done. Nice start. And I didn't even interrupt you. Take that. Look, you got our guest to leave.
You let the show.
He left us somehow. Couldn't get it right.
Well, we had it. No, I'm kidding.
But hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up? And then we have Scott Solo here.
Hey, what's up, nerds?
You paused there. I was like, oh crap, he's muted.
Oh
we've got
no,
fanboy Mike down in this corner. Wow.
Good to see you guys.
Wow. Never mind.
he's already muted.
We got Bootleg Joe's here with us.
Ouch.
Yeah, bootleg's hurt foot.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Bum leg Joe.
And we have a very special guest coming with us from coming into our world from the canon, the novelization world that we tote those things as expanded universe, but canon, it's very important for us. The comic books, the novels, commercials, toys, it's all part of it, the Star Wars universe. Daniel Jose Alder, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Yes,
Right
people know your name here because we have talked about you before. We're like I said,
Frequently.
we're knee deep into the world of just beyond the movies and everything, and so
Awesome.
yeah,
That's
man. Yeah. So, everybody in chat joining us, thank you very much. I know it's early. It's 5 o'clock our time, but you know what? It's all worth it. But with that, man, we want to get into this. We want to get into your life. Also, New York Times bestseller.
Yes.
So, congratulations on that.
Recently New York Times Magazine, right?
Yeah.
Your Shadow Shaper was named as one of the top 100 fantasy books of all time.
Of all time.
Yes.
Of all time. That's wild. Congratulations.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. And I do want to say this, like
Downloading it now.
without Star,
I have it.
yeah, without Star Wars,
Yeah.
we found you, and we're finding your library, and we're finding you as like, again with Shadow Walker.
Shadow Shaper.
Thank you, Shadow Shaper. Again, I'm finding
taking
it
over in a minute, Daniel. Don't worry.
No. I'm saying, like I said, I'm discovering you as I go because of Star Wars. Star Wars brought you to us, and then hopefully the Star Wars world into your beyond, expanded universe that you're doing too. So I love it. I love the hand in hand stuff. So, so we've got a whole list of questions that we want to ask you and a whole list of information that we want to get out of you. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Chris. Who has compiled all this stuff because he is our resident lore guy. He's the guy who breaks down all the novels and brings it to the masses. He does the book reviews and all that. So him and Scott actually both go hand in hand with that. So Chris, go for it, man. The mic is yours.
All right. We've already done the buttering up in the beginning, so we're just going to jump right into it, Daniel. But you know how much I appreciate this. And this is, again, you can see behind me, man, that whole top level is all canon books. We've got legend books everywhere. I listen to the audios, man. So this is huge to be able to talk to somebody. And we do a lot of theory crafting and talk here about the way we think stories would go and this and that. But you're actually somebody that gets to say, this is how it should go. And here it is. And then we get to say, oh, well, Daniel
Exactly.
he said so. So I have to listen. So that's big for us. Right on.
Huge. Yeah.
So to start us off real fast, before we get to the Star Wars stuff, what got you into writing? Have you always been a writer? I think you're a jack of more than just one trade. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got here.
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me. It's really great to be here. I'm very excited to talk to you guys. This is obviously a lot of fun. And the through line is really storytelling. So when I was a kid, first of all, Return of the Jedi was the first movie I ever saw in the movie theaters.
Cool.
I was 3. And,
Mine too.
My mind, changed my whole world. And then after that, watching the specials of like the behind the scenes ones, I know y'all saw those. Amazing. So I've been a Star Wars fan literally my whole life, and I really do like keep tracking different moments in books I write back to Return of the Jedi. Be like, that's that. Like it really was foundational for me in terms of like just story. But I went on to become a real nerd in terms of mythology, sci-fi, Like the Iliad was my jam when I was
Nice.
like 10. Like I was like,
Wow.
I know. I was
At
really,
10.
That's deep.
Yeah.
I know. It was Greek mythology and politics. I read All the President's Men, also way too young, and was like deep into it. And those were like the two, you know. So I kept being a nerd and being a nerd. I wanted to be a cartoonist when I was younger. Really glad I'm not a cartoonist now. I still draw all the time, but it's not for me to do professionally. I wanted to make creatures for ILM or Henson, maybe. You know, those were like when I was a kid. But then as I got older and in college, I was really doing music seriously. So composing and putting, but always with story, you know. So I would put together like these big, weird productions of like, one of them was like a rockumentary, one of them was kind of a mockumentary, just all kinds of wild stuff. And then that was my 20s, but I was a paramedic for most of my 20s too, paying pay the rent. Yeah, so I was working the streets of New York for 10 years. And most of that time I was organizing around racial justice and gender stuff, and I was doing music. And none of that stuff was paying the bill.
Right, of course.
So, and I didn't want to be a medic for the rest of my life, as much as that is an amazing job.
Right.
Like, and at some point I was also like, man, I mean, some of y'all know with music, like you have to get 15 people into a room or even 5 people into a room and then to record something and then production and all this other junk that like just wasn't the writing. You know, I just wanted to write and tell stories. And it was just kind of like I reached a point where I was just like, you know, if I write a book, it'll just be me and the laptop, and I can sit there and just do the work. I'm not going to rely on nobody else for none of this crap. And that's really what happened. I was 29. It was 2009. I sat down and wrote Shadow Shaper. Basically, and then I started submitting it, and it got rejected 40 times.
Wow!
Jeez.
Whoa!
Wow!
And this is the same book that you just shouted out because it was called one of the best books of all time.
Yeah,
denied 40 times.
Yes, and I think it took 4 years to get published, or 5 years to publish.
Wow!
6 years, something like that. It was crazy. So yeah, it was a journey, you know. But that really did set everything off. And
Wow, there's 40 people that should be really ticked off at themselves for
they
that, right?
They've sent me messages like, "Man, I really messed up."
Yeah, right. Well,
yeah, you did.
You should maybe reevaluate your own career there. If you can't pick winners out of a hat, I don't know, man.
I'm saying it was all right there. It's right there.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How about Star Wars? How'd that work? How'd you get into Star Wars? Did you go do you apply for that job, or did they come and scout you out?
They kind of find you. I think I put the word out. I know I told my agent that I really wanted to do it. The first Star Wars writer I met was Delilah Dawson.
Okay.
And Phasma is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's so cool. We were, in fact, Yes, it was 4 years ago this week, because it was at a conference called Surrey, the Surrey International Writers Conference, which is outside of Vancouver. And we were both doing that conference, and I was sitting like next to her in the signing line. She's super nice. She's like one of the nicest writers in the world.
Nice.
And we just started talking. She had that novella out. This was before Phasma. And she had the novella out, and we were just chatting, and I was like, oh, Star Wars. Like, wow, like just hadn't even really occurred to me. I just never met a Star Wars writer. And then I was like, wow, now I know a Star Wars. And then I was like, I wonder if I could do that. You know, so I think I told my agent to like put the word out, but I don't know if he did or not, honestly. But I do know that like at some point after that, they came to me for doing the From a Certain Point of View story.
Right.
And that was genuinely the amount of cursing that I did in a good way when I got that email. I can't even tell you. That was a free project.
Yeah.
And I tell writers, like, don't write for free. You know, your time is important. But that was
right.
Like, because that led directly
Great stuff.
obviously. Yeah. And like, but no, that alone was so cool. You know, like, I was so excited to be part of that project. It's such a cool book. Like,
it is a good book. It's
great.
One of our, as a group, as a collective, one of our favorite.
Absolutely.
Just the experience of the short stories, because even like back in the EU days, the Legend days, you know, when they had Tales of Mos Eisley, so that was so intriguing, because you can get through a story a day, you know, you can get to, and you can really put some background characters, because Star Wars was always background characters that made Star Wars, really.
In fact, we kind of broke it down in one of our podcasts, sort of, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was like 4 or 5 podcasts in a row. We would do each stories. We would review them each week.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this because you're on, but Born in the Storm, it was one of our
favorite.
The way
absolute.
The way
we're actually segue into that right now.
Yeah.
It's funny because if you listen to the old shows, we would complain a little bit when people would get earthly, right? When you would get this tone of a earth tone in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah. Certain point of view for some, and Born in the Storm, for some reason, and we talk about it on the show, was the first one where I accepted it.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the way you deliver it or the way it was written or what, but I was like, you know what? I made my kids listen to it, audiobook version, listening to you do it, right?
Uh-huh.
I made all the crew listen to it. I'm like, guys, you got to hear this.
Yeah, you did.
Before everybody got to it. I just loved it. I loved the concept of it and everything. And that's actually where we're at right now.
Yeah.
You have a tone that stands apart, right? That's different than everybody else. And it came across right then. We knew. So when they announced Last Shot, we were excited about it.
Yeah.
Your style, how do you see that? How's that stand apart? And how do you see that working in a Star Wars universe?
That's a great question. And I agree with you, actually. I hate, hate is a strong word, but I don't, when things feel, I don't like getting pulled out of the story.
Right.
And with Star Wars, it's such an immersive world. Like, one complaint that I will lodge, controversially or not, is that the changes in music that they did, like for Return of the Jedi, like when they rebranded it and like did the re-edit, you know what I mean? Like for me, like that music that they added into Jabba's palace, it pulls me right out of the story because it feels really like a reggae knockoff.
Yeah,
and
like,
same. It's hard to get into that for me.
Yep.
So I try to avoid that. And the joy of Star Wars, it's complex, right? Because the joy of Star Wars is also that we recognize things viscerally, even though it's so far, far away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like both things are happening at the same time. You're like, I know that feeling, but it's like transposed into something so alien and cool that it feels like and so like it's always about reaching for that. I think all of Star Wars is actually about that balance, and many balances, the balance of the Force, but like the balance of like humor and darkness and like, gore.
Right.
Like,
Right.
The politics stuff, which they do really, really well. And like just the fun, like space chases. Like that's what we love about Star Wars. It's all those things hang in some kind of balance that feels like home. Yeah. And when that balance tips a little bit, it stops feeling that way.
Yeah.
You're just like, But it is kind of a magical thing. Like I can't to this day tell you what it is about Born in the Storm that makes that work. I don't actually know. I just know I love Star Wars, and I was like, if I was in the Star Wars world, this is how I would act and talk.
Yeah.
Right.
I felt like it made you feel the stormtrooper, like you really kind of really just felt what he would say or do, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how it felt at home to us, you know what I mean?
Right. It's totally based on being a paramedic, by the way, because we would have to.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. This paperwork is completely ridiculous. Like literally like save a child's life who had just been shot. And then the next thing you have to do is paperwork about it.
And then you have to tell the story of it. Yeah.
You have to tell the story but you have to tell the story by fitting it into these ridiculous little boxes that don't make any sense, right? So you're not actually telling the story. Yeah. You're actually just fulfilling a legal requirement and trying to get sued.
Well, that's brilliant to bring in aspect of like, your perspective or your experience into a short story like that. Because when we figured out when it was, spoiler alert, anybody hasn't read this book or a short story, but it's your report driven on tape, but it's almost like your retirement report. This is what I experienced and I'm out of here. And then you kind of like reevaluate your life and the whole process of this old man saying, these aren't the joys I'm looking for. Well, we still say that to this day. We say that to each other sometimes. You're like, you know what? These aren't the joys you're looking for.
And we refer to it. We refer to it from a point of view. That's kind of
So that's hilarious. Mind you, I'm not a paramedic anymore, so it's very autobiographical. Like, it's really about being like, you know what? This is wild. I'm out. Like,
but it was your experience and your like I said, real life experience to know to write the story in that way, because I mean,
I literally call it incident reports. Like bureaucratic madness. But also, I've always loved dewbacks. Come on,
we can tell. It's like romantic.
It's like the dewback went into much detail on the dewback. I was almost taking notes.
But I mean, to me, like the dewback is, not to get too deep, but it's symbolic of one of the best things about the original trilogy, which is that like you see dewbacks for like 0.5 seconds,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
if that,
it just pans past them. In the first obviously the first cut.
Sure.
You know, it just pans past them, like, and you're like, wait, what was that?
Yeah,
VHS, so you can't do no fancy edits to figure out what it is. It's
Yeah.
just a goddamn blur in the background in the desert.
Yeah.
So you kind of stop it at the right moment, right? Like, but that's iconic.
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
Based on this like blur in the background.
That's awesome.
It's neat.
It's awesome.
And it was expanded so much, and like, you just fell in love with it because like we could tell it was awesome. It was awesome. But that happens all the time. Didn't you just get called out for Pablo for using Ithorians too much, like hammerheads?
It was Matt. I really don't. I like Ithorians. I don't have a problem with
Who doesn't?
them. You know, they're cool, but I didn't know I was obsessed with them. But apparently, I was writing a draft of. Actually, it was. I can say now. I couldn't when I tweeted because it hadn't been announced yet. The middle grade that I have coming out for the High Republic. And I guess like I was just going over edits and they made notes in it, and I just like anytime it was like someone pushes past someone in a crowd or there's like a bad guy approaching, I just needed a species. I just kept grabbing Ithorian out of it. 15 Ithorians in the book, and Matt finally was just like, no, Ithorians.
Yeah.
Vocalize it. Speak basic. Like it's not even like an easy species to just have talking.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We got a list
That's
of aliens
cool.
we want you to incorporate in your next book.
Send it over. I'm always like, wait, which one? You know, I'll jump on the Wikipedia, which I don't think I'm supposed to say, but I'll jump on the Wikipedia and be like, who do I want in this? You know?
Right.
Just toss a Twi'lek or two in there.
Right.
Oh yeah, and look, there's plenty of them.
There are.
Yeah.
We'll get to one in a minute.
Yeah.
We will.
Yes.
We will.
My favorite species is right now it's Doug. It always changes, but I love Dogs, man.
Yeah. Sebulba. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, go ahead.
ET in there.
That's all right.
Nah,
I was
ET.
gonna say we're always really talking about that process, the story group and the authors and everybody else too. Now, when you get this book, are you given a certain set of things you have to do, or you said just go for it and you go to them for help?
It's pretty vague. You get like a vague scenario, right? So, well, with FactPub, you really just bring them what you want to do, and as long as it hasn't been taken yet. And I think by the time I got to everything had been taken, which is why I ended up with a random stormtrooper, but I made it work. But
really made it work.
Last shot, they came with like a very basic sort of scenario that they wanted. I mean, the main points were that because it was coming out around Solo, right? So it was like really about bridging like the Han that we know and love to the Han that we were about to meet.
Right.
And that was the concept. So that was why it did so much time jumping and everything else. So they bring a certain amount, but it's very, very open.
Right on. Yeah. Now, because I know I don't want to take up too much time on it, but how about this part? We know the Empire version's coming up. Can you tell us anything about that? I saw you had a tweet. I think it's a Forlom and Zuckuss story. Is that right?
Yeah. Man.
What can you tell us? I don't want to get you in trouble.
So I can tell you that there's an editor droid that makes comments in the sidebar of the story itself and is quite passive aggressive.
Nice. I love that.
For those of you who read Last Shot, the Parappa Cartel, which is the little guys that have the big mech suits.
Yep.
Moving.
They're a whole like group, gang group. So it's like I think it's the nephew, no, the grandson of the one we meet of Mosine Parappa, head of that cartel, and he's basically trying to write a puff piece about Forlom and Zuckuss, and it just goes violently wrong instantly. Nice. And he's very obviously compromised because they're a rival cartel, like they have beef, so he shouldn't even be writing the story. Like the droid editor knows that, and hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Violent story. It's very bloody. I was surprised they let me get away with all that.
Like it.
Okay.
Well, they're bounty hunters, man.
Excited,
I mean, you got it.
And they go back to Free Rago's, the diner that's in Last Shot, which is like one of my favorite diners.
Awesome tie-in. Good.
Yeah. I just love the tie-ins.
Yeah, I love it. That's the thing we really go off on, right? Is the tie-ins when you can get one book to touch into another, into another. That's the cool stuff. And we're always the drag is when a movie or a show comes out, we're always looking for those tie-ins in there, and we really don't get them as much as we think we would.
Bro, you're preaching to the choir. I don't know what to tell
you.
Right.
Yeah,
man. If they would just tie more stuff in, like it would make the experience a whole lot better.
Yeah,
because then you
cool.
can.
The worst is when they don't tie into their own stuff. That they,
How much time we got?
Exactly.
We're non-toxic here, but we can float that way.
Oh, yeah.
we can go.
That's what I said.
We're constructively We're
criticizing.
Let me say this though, because I think it's important. One thing I love about Star Wars is that we all have opinions about it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, you can critique it. It does, to me, it's never felt like the kind of a world where, in terms of like the creators, where we're not allowed to have opinions. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what's actually so great about it. Like, I mean, people can question my love for Star Wars. They do all the time.
Sure.
With trolls, you know, and then I have to dig up my picture of me at 3 years old playing Luke Skywalker. But whatever, that's not It's not even a relevant credential. I just do that as a joke. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, if you love something, you can critique it. Yep. That's how I feel. Like, critiquing is the opposite of hate. It's actually like you love it. You critique it because you love it. If I hated it, I would just give up and walk away, and you would never see another Star Wars story from me. I don't work on, stuff that I don't like. So I love it.
Perfect.
And there's things I don't love about it, and I'm honest about those. And I think that's how most people carry themselves.
Sure.
That's what we talk about. We take what's good. Say even if it's not a book we don't like or a movie we don't like, you take what's important out of it, the story, the lore, you put it in its place in the whole saga, and then you're good and you move on.
Yeah, you do.
And the creators are in conversation with each other. You know what I mean? Like Dave Filoni took the prequel trilogy and turned it into something else entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
magical.
people that love the prequel trilogy, and there's people that love what he did with it, and there's people that love both. You know what I mean? And like, Star Wars isn't less for that.
Right. Exactly. 100%. 100%. It is personal to you. Like you said, you have these pictures that you shouldn't have to like prove it to people, because I'm like, I don't really care. You know, like I like it. I put it on its shelf. This is gospel to me, right? You know, like and it is what it is. And like Chris said, we pick the important parts, and like this is what happened in the series of events. You know, and we have a lot of fun with it. So
regardless of how it was told, right?
There's nothing. Honestly, there's nothing they can do. Anybody could do to make me not like, episodes 4, 5, and 6. You know, the holy trilogy, right? Nothing anybody could do to make me destroy those films. So Disney can have episodes 15, 16 to 20 or whatever, and they can go off and kill everybody they want. I still have that. That's still personal to me.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
And I still love them all, so whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. No, they're all good, man. I mean,
all right. The worst Star Wars movie is better than anything else.
There we go. There's Star Wars, and then there's everything else in the world.
Everything else.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's switch gears over to Last Shot. Yeah. All right. Before we do that, though, there's obviously a difference since the Disney transition, right? And tone. In faces, we've seen the whiteboards and everything, right? Things to be put in these stories. Not mentioning the dinosaurs. I mean the diversity, right? Oh, yeah. The dinosaurs is a joke. I just mean dewbacks when they say stuff like
dewbacks are dinosaurs. Wrong.
But there's a lot more focus on diversity and inclusion, and I think that's excellent because looking at your Twitter and everything else. Okay, look at us. We're not exactly the most diverse group of folks, right, in the room, our podcast, but we're trying, right? So we want to learn more and get more, and we don't always to see the whole trilogy is very washed out. It's us right now, right? A bunch of and that's what that was. So getting more diverse, I want to talk about that, and you've been important in that, and you wrote this book really, really well, and you included a lot of characters with a lot of different orientations, feelings, views, and made it work, man. And that's the thing is, I didn't look at any of them and think, oh, this person is Taka.
Yeah.
Right? Let's look at Taka. Let's talk about that character for a minute. Yeah. It's the pronouns, they, right? Everything. You've kept it very clear, but this character was an awesome add to the lore. So you want to talk about Taka and how that came about?
Taka is one of my favorite characters. Like, I just love writing them, and I love the response that people have had. You know, people have literally come up to me crying and made me cry, just to see themselves in Star Wars and never thought that they would, So that on its own was immensely gratifying. At the end of the day, like with diversity, there's two levels to it. It's almost like the balance piece that we talk about with Star Wars, right? It's like on the one level, yes, like there is a very clear, for me, mandate, just as a human being to show the other human beings that I know to exist in the world in literature. And because literature in general and genre literature and sci-fi specifically has been so dramatically bad at that for so long, I feel like there's an added mandate and those of us who are, and responsibility, and those of us who are creators now to tip that balance back towards actually being balanced to some extent, and on the other level, so like that is, you could say an agenda, if you felt like that was the word that you wanted to use, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, I call it a responsibility, to be honest. And that's the other piece is that, when I look around at the people in my world, there are lots of different colors of people and there are lots of different genders. And that's just a fact, you know. So, and our job as writers is to tell the truth about the world, even when it's a galaxy far, far away. And that's what's always been so great about Star Wars, is that it's done its best to tell the truth about the world.
Right.
It hasn't always succeeded, you know, but it's tried. And that's, I think what we do is we keep trying. We don't always succeed, but we keep trying. So to me, it's that simple. It's just like there's all kinds of genders out there, you know, in this world. So there would be in that world too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Even more so.
It makes total sense. Why would anybody argue it in a galaxy far, far away, much less even here? Right. So
they do.
It's been
they do.
Everywhere we are. We've had discussions on this show too. It's not like I can't play innocent and say I've never said, oh, why are we doing this or that? Just wondering, right? That's why I wanted to commend that piece, because again, as I'm learning and getting better, that whole book right there was one of those it was the exact example I was talking about, where it can be done perfect. Everybody's included. It's a great story. The characters are engaging. I want to know more, and I've gone through this book probably 6 times, Daniel.
Oh shit!
And I enjoy it. I enjoy the characters in the story, just like I would do a TV show or a movie. I do that with my buds, and I go through books.
That's so cool.
Oh man, let me tell you, just to jump off the subject, it's a huge stress relief, man. If I walk around, I'm doing my yard or I'm doing something, I'm going shopping, I'll put them in, listen to a book, listen to you do Last Shot with me while you're getting to voice your own voice in your own book.
Yeah,
is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was January Lavoie and Mark Thompson also, which was a great combination of the 3 of you. Okay, let me ask you that. Let me just jumping around all over.
Yeah, no, I don't.
How'd that come up? Do you get to pick who's going to do your audio version? Like, did you say I want to do the young Lando and the January Lavoie? Oh no, you did Han, right?
I did young Han.
And January Lavoie did Lando, and then Mark Thompson did the older version of both.
I thought the January choice was, first of all, she's great, but it was so clever because that twist at the end, spoiler alert, you know, but when it really feels like L3 was kind of telling the story the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love that they picked her because it kind of like insinuates that a little bit, so it really clinches at the end. And then Mark, of course, is just a genius. Like he's an actual.
He's great.
Yeah.
Genius.
He's awesome.
They're both really great. I mean, so I think I told them, I did the audiobooks from my urban fantasy series. I have right here, Bone Street Roomba. So this is my first series actually. And I did all the audiobooks for that. So I had a cred to my name. And so I basically just told my agent to tell them that for the Fact Pop story, I'd be happy to do that. And so they were like, cool. So then they already knew that I knew what I was doing. So it was good. So that was really fun. But yeah, you don't get a say in it. I just let them know I'm available. You know, I didn't do this Fact Pop story, which is fine because I'm actually really excited to see what they did. It's going to be cool.
Nice.
Right. It's neat to hear it the way you narrate it in your voice versus say Mark doing the older ones. I know it should be different because they've grown in that time, right? But do you think it's neat that you can, like when you text somebody, nobody ever gets my inflection when I'm emailing or texting. I say, I wish I could have said that in my own voice.
Yeah.
Right? Do you get a kick out of that? Like, this is exactly how I wrote it.
It's the sound effects. It's the fact that Mark literally sounds exactly like the people that he's playing.
Yeah.
It makes it so iconic, and you're just like, oh, it's really feels like
it's so good.
Yeah, that part was great.
The music in the background too has got to be.
Oh my god, the music!
We actually really try to get more people turned on to audiobooks than I've known from other podcasts and whatnot, just because of the theatrical experience, the epicness of it, and that the goosebumps that you get from an audiobook. Yes, you get them on the reading sometimes, but it's just night and day difference.
And you guys have listened to Cav's Dooku, right? The audio drama.
Yes. Oh, I'm trying to get him on next. I'm gonna try to get Kevin on.
I'll let him know I had fun.
Nice.
Oh, right on. Oh, sweet.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Sweet. But yeah, the Dooku book is pretty sick. Goes great with Master and Apprentice, right back to back.
Oh.
And we'll talk to him about that concept too, how it was just a radio play instead. That was awesome. So now how about Lando and L3's relationship? You got to dig into that quite a bit. So we know that they're obviously more than just partners, less than a couple. I mean, how do you play that off? How much information did you get on that, and how much fun did you have with that relationship?
Actually, it was I read the script, but it wasn't entirely clear to me that there was that romantic subtext from the script for whatever reason. I was reading it in a hurry, and there was a life-size Ahsoka next to me while I was reading it. And so I was distracted.
Yeah.
My favorite character.
Yeah, your head just keeps turning.
Area. So I was sort of like in heaven, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I only had like a couple hours to read it, so it was a fast read. But anyway, Yeah, to me, it was actually more with them about, because also that's a book where, you know, Lando is in a later section finding the love of his life, right?
Right.
Yes.
So the L3 relationship was really more about looking at their partnership and friendship and just seeing like how well they work together, how deeply she understands him, and also like how she's kind of saving his ass over and over again, and like including all the way into the present tense. Like,
Yeah.
all those levels of like L3, to me, like the genius of L3 is that she's not just a rabble rouser, she's an organizer.
Right.
And what I love about her and her portrayal, the little that we got, is that it's very easy to have like the activist stereotype character who's just like, I'm angry.
Right.
You know, like, and it's flat. It's a cartoon. It doesn't, and they didn't do that with her. They made her really complex, which made her die and suck even more in a way. But I was so glad that we got this little bit of a character who's really interested in dealing with, you know, the complexity of droid rights in a complex way, and has a complex love and relationship with a human, you know, with an organic. So to me, it was also about playing that off Faison Gore and how much he misunderstands droid rights, and his concept of like basically entering into a community and telling them what to do to get free by taking control of them, right? Like,
right.
What is that? And so those were really like contrasting ideas that were kind of happening throughout the book. But I just love her. With Lando, it's just how deeply she gets him, and he gets her. Yeah, and that's what that friendship is about to me.
No, it's fantastic, and I love her more after this book than even in the movie. So again, that's what the books do, right? They enhance, enhance it. Speaking of enhancing, you got to dig in deep on Lando and Han there too about Cloud City, and that's one of those things where you've got history since 1980, right?
It's so awesome
about him getting frozen and Lando doing it and him feeling bad. You got to dig into that, so talk about that. And now that's a huge piece of the lore that we're talking about, right? That is now this is how Lando and Han dealt with this and how they felt. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, they never get a chance to in the movie, which I understand. Like, the movie's not about that, right? And they clearly have conversations outside, off screen, whatever, we can assume. So, you know, I don't knock the movies for that at all. I just felt like it's such a huge thing that happened between them, and we don't really know how it played out. We don't know if they ever talked with it. You know, the fact is, a lot of us have friendships that we don't deal with that shit.
Yeah,
right. I wanted them to deal with it, and I wanted them to get it off their chest and like be honest about it, and both recognize that they were in an impossible situation, you know. And I think that's at the end of the day, like, we can pick sides if we want, but like Lando didn't really have any choices that were good, and he saved a lot of people, even though he didn't save one of our favorite people.
Right.
You know? But he arguably also saved the rebellion by doing it. Correct. So it's very complex, which is why it works so well, why it's such a great movie. And I think over time it's turned into like, oh, Lando betrayed him. And it's like, it's deeper than that, you know?
Yeah. For that one split second,
and you did.
But then watch the rest of the film.
Right.
But you got
context that he was in.
Yeah, and you got deep into it, and Lando's feelings about it, and him not being able to, you don't get to get over it. It's okay. You know, I get it. I screwed up, and what a great conversation. I mean, it's just one of those things where you could see in real life happening, and you put it into the galaxy far, far away with two characters we love that are scoundrels, by the way.
Right.
But they're still dudes, right? And they're friends. Right. I mean, the first time they see each other, Lando pops him in the head. Right. And that's the first thing. But they're just dudes, and they're guys, and they're scoundrels, and you played them perfectly. You played them out, you know.
That was the moment when I was like, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No, go ahead. Go on.
No? Okay. That was the moment I knew the book was going to work, was when I had that image of Lando showing up on his balcony at sunrise for no reason and punching him in the face. And I was like, if I can get to that moment in the first chapter, this book is going to be okay.
And it was. And you had him smoking cigars by sundown. Right?
Exactly. And that's
friends do. Yeah,
you know, especially those types of friends.
Right.
And it's such a cool opportunity if you think about it, because like they are characters, again, to Star Wars' credit, those are two characters who I think in any other movie would just kind of blend into each other.
Right.
You know, like they're both scoundrels. They both have sordid pasts. They're both kind of like, I don't really care about anything. And then they both end up caring a lot about something and changing because of it.
Yep.
They have similar arcs, but the differences are fascinating. And they are very different. Like Lando knows how to dress. You know what I mean? Like, Han doesn't. And like that actually matters. Like it's to their different, deeper selves in ways, which is why we get moments with both of them getting dressed. And like we see like what that's like internally for them in different ways at different times in their lives. You know? And like, but they're so different, and those differences are so interesting. Yeah. And the way that those play out then in their friendships and relationships and love lives, like it's all there. It's just like a playground.
And I think that's where your writing fits this book more than anybody else's that I could tell, right? Because the way you have fun, the way you have more of a terrestrial tone sometimes, the way you play Han and Lando, and even the getting dressed and the Lando's getting dressed was a hint of a bulge and a butt and all this. I mean, you write that
they
really.
Let me keep that. I couldn't believe they let me keep the bulge.
It was awesome. And you've obviously got him and Kasha knocking around. I mean, you got to write a lot of cool stuff that most people wouldn't be able to, number one, go for it, and number two, get away with, because you made it all work again. It wasn't explicit. It wasn't, or it was perfect. Again, you
very close to explicit. There's definitely a butt or two butts.
Two butts, human butt and Twi'lek butt. Right. I told you, I've listened to it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think you listened to it a couple times this week alone, didn't you?
I did. I prep, man. I prep. I wanted to do Shadow Shaper, but I knew I wanted to go through this, man. I was like, okay,
listen, Anika Noni Rose, who's the princess from The Princess and the Frog, she does the Shadow Shaper audiobooks, all of them.
Awesome.
And including there's 2 novellas that come in the middle of the trilogy, and like she kills it.
Wow, nice.
Amazing. Yeah.
Nice. Well, there's going to be a lull after High Republic, and I'm going to go ahead and catch up on everything after that for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
But I know you're up on time, Daniel, so I don't want to take too much, but I want to see.
Keep going. We're having fun. It's all right.
Oh, right on.
Right.
I'm going to keep going then. All right. I was skipping pages of questions. Let's get it basic though. Okay.
Yeah.
Which character is your favorite to write out of everybody?
Oh, shit.
Well, so far, right? Because
so far.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is I'm having a really good time with these OCs I get to come up with. For, High Republic.
And that's okay.
That's another level, but that's different, right? Because it's people that you made up, so But it is also really cool working with characters that other people made up in the room with you, and so that's really fun. But in terms of like, I have to say, I really enjoyed like young, reckless Han, because he was exactly that, just young and reckless. You know what I mean? Like, writing in that way was really fun, because I was young and reckless once, and I got to remember that. And just like that messed up relationship that he has with Sana, and like, how, like what a disaster he is, and like she's got it so together.
Yeah.
And, like convinced that she's in love with him, and he's not.
Yeah.
Like, that was really fun for me. Also because I love Maz's castle and just having her in there and everything. So like, it was such a reckless part of the story, and it just was like chaotic, and like they lose at the end. You know what I mean? Like, it's just disaster. And then the underworld, like part of Star Wars, is just like, it's totally my happy place.
Absolutely.
Jabba's palace is my favorite scene.
Yeah.
It's neat because again, it's not easy to make it feel Star Wars when there's no Jedi, no Force, no anything like that. And you went again, scoundrels. You need Han and stuff, right? In the galaxy, not everybody's a Jedi,
right?
No Force involved. I think you maybe mentioned Force once or twice, right? The whole time, and they were clowning it when they did it. So it's pretty rad to be able to do that and get it that way. Were you worried about not having any Jedi talk or anything like that?
A little bit, not worried so much as like I kind of wanted to get some in there just because I think it's cool. But I was also like, it doesn't fit. Like there's nowhere to put it in and make it work. So
it might derail the whole what you're trying to do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it then it'll seem forced. Pun intended. But it would seem a little bit like, oh, they just threw that in there just to have,
Right. Exactly. So. Yeah. No, definitely.
So talking about Jedi, I'm gonna be as careful as I can here for you. All right, you got High Republic coming out. We saw it coming, and I've seen a picture of you guys are getting to work on Yoda, right? Yeah. How's that? I mean, that's got to be pretty cool to get into an era of Yoda that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Say what you can.
I keep trying to figure out a reasonable answer to this question. It's like all I can say is like I haven't come up with one. It's like the coolest thing ever. I feel like any fan could almost just, whatever you imagine, like how cool it is that cool. Like it's like writing Yoda is like every time I type the word Yoda on the page, I'm just like, oh,
right,
Yoda, baby. Like,
yeah, that's young, cool. Sprott, 700-year-old Yoda.
Yeah.
So is it how do you get into the cadence of the rhythm of his voice? Is it a challenge?
It's really hard, but the good part is I don't have to worry about it that much because of story groups. There's like people who really know how it works, and they're like, actually the verb would go over here.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Great. And then I just hit agree, and then
nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How much collaboration do you do? You mentioned Kevin Scott, right? I saw you guys tweet together because you're working on High Republic. Yeah. How much are you guys like in a Zoom meeting like this, and do you go around and start talking about stuff? Or
yeah, we talk like regularly, like many times a month, and we have a Slack where we talk a lot of trash and just have a great time. And
nice. Really have to.
Well, that makes us happy too, because that's neat that everybody.
Trash.
Yeah.
Not even
be a fly on the wall during those conversations.
Like, it's actually really great for writing. Like literally today, I was like, oh, I'm writing a scene on the Starlight, and who's like the Jedi in charge or whatever at this moment, you know? And like 3 different people who were writing stuff in that era, in that moment, jumped in and were like, oh, it's this guy or that person or whatever, thing. And it's like, so as much as I love looking at the Wikipedia, it's so much cooler just to like grab a writer like, in the chat and be like, hey guys, what's happening over here? You know, like,
you've got a living Wikipedia right there.
Yeah.
Especially because they're better at remembering that stuff than I am.
Will you go and kind of reference movies a lot? Like, will you have time and maybe watch a movie and kind of go, oh, I never picked up on that, and then that's something that to write in your notes in some way?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, just like to look for new, you know, just creatures in the background and like subtleties and all that. I just rewatched TFA like last week. And what's interesting is I really don't rewatch many movies. I don't enjoy it for whatever reason. But Star Wars is the exception.
Yeah.
Right.
Always.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, exactly. No.
And that's usually how I rank them, actually, when I would just put them on randomly. Like you said, you put on TFA. TFA is my favorite of the sequels because it's the one I'll pop on randomly. If I'm at home, bored, feeling sick, whatever, I'm popping on Force Awakens. Right? It grabs.
It does.
It's refreshing.
It's refreshing. It's like I remember seeing it when it came out and opening week, and I just remember feeling like, wow, like they did it, like they cracked it. They figured out how to bring us back into the world without being overly nostalgic and without just like relying too heavily on fan service, but letting us know that this world is lived in and that there's history. And it was that moment when we see in the background all the downed Star Destroyers, you know, on Jakku. I just felt so like, wow, this is a world that's aware of its own history in such a deep way, but doesn't have to throw it in our face.
Right.
And then the whole movie just evoking the original trilogy without like overdoing it and still really feel like its own thing. Like it's so fresh and all. We fell in love with so many characters off that one movie. You know what I mean? Like so many. It's wild.
Yeah.
I love that.
As I do think it was almost poetic mirror of like A New Hope. You know, it did have, and actually of all the original trilogy just thrown in there. I always have this kind of discussion with the guys and other people. I'm like, someone says, well, they did that because they want to refresh or they want to reintroduce new people, right? And I'm like kind of opposite of that sentiment. I'm kind of like, Star Wars doesn't need to introduce new fans. They could just watch 4, 5, and 6 and then continue a story, or, you know, to kind of like do anything. Because I did think TFA had a little bit of the New Hope undertone, I guess, like the sequence of events. You know, we had a cantina, we had, you know, but at the same time, you're right. There's something where when they introduced Kylo Ren, Rey, Poe, and even though Poe was supposed to die in TFA too originally, and then they wrote him out. So, like I said, we even see Kylo Ren as the best character that came out of the sequel trilogy. 100%. I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that
I love Kylo.
His thing was opposite, right? There was a light always pulling him, and he wanted to stay dark. When every other Jedi that went dark was always, you know, the dark trying to pull him, and they're trying to stay light. You know, it's always an opposite thing.
He was the opposite, wanting to be bad.
Yeah, he wanted to be bad so bad that he was even told Snoke, "I feel it again, the light pulling towards," or telling the ashes of Vader, like, "Show me again why I'm going this path." You know, so I thought he was the best. So what I'm trying to get at is like a lot of times like the characters overpower some of those tones in the movie that are mimicking things to make it like, oh, that was just a New Hope ripoff, but. You know, I've heard people say that too, right? Because of the sequence of events. I think the characters overpower that.
I agree. And it's like, I think it's James Baldwin, who said history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Yeah.
And
well, even George Lucas said that like when he was doing the prequels, he was like, it's poetic. They rhyme.
Right.
You know, like the Phantom Menace, how the end where you had 3 battles going on at once. It rhymes with Return of the Jedi, how it, you know.
Totally. Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, let's. Is there anything else about High Republic at all? Because I'm not going to try to get you in trouble at all, Daniel. But is there anything else you want to?
Is like, I forget. It's really hard to keep track of what we revealed and what we haven't.
Right.
Like, I know today we did the Padawan drop, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Saw that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
we did.
But I don't even think there was that much new information. It was like concept art. I think we might have met some new characters. I can tell you that Lula Talisola is one of the lead characters in the IDW Adventure series. I can tell you that the IDW Adventure series is going to be really cool. Like
Nice.
it's really about to be. It's. I'll say that as the creator, I went into it with really epic storytelling in mind.
Right.
In line with Star Wars and the Star Wars that we know and love, so it's a really big arc that really spans.
Yeah, that's cool. I just want to kind of touch on that because what we've got is a bunch of concept art, and we got the little blurb about Yoda's background and what we're going to see on Yoda as far as the verb or the blurb that I remember was we're going to see Yoda doing Yoda things, teaching, being a mentor, doing stuff. And yes, there might be some action and stuff. That it gives me, like I said, without all that, like I said, as being on this side of it, not knowing anything other than the concept art and what we're going to be, seeing visually in a couple of little excerpts. We've always wondered, like, okay, but is there going to be that Star Wars event that's so critical and so life-threatening that everything has to fall in place for things to get to where we are 200 years, fast forward to the Jedi Council and what we got in Phantom Menace, right? That's the question. You don't have to answer. I'm just saying this is the questions that we have in our heads. Like, what is
just
what
tell us everything.
Yeah.
Say nothing, I promise.
I almost said, yeah, we know everything. Go ahead and tell us what you know. We know everything.
Off the record.
Let's see if you're right.
Yeah, see if you.
Let's see if you matched what we've said.
Yeah.
We'll just hit pause and you can,
This is a test.
I will say, I won't answer that question, obviously. But I'll say that what's cool about Yoda right now is like Yoda's in the field.
Cool.
Like he's in the field with the Padawans. He's not on Coruscant.
Right,
He's
right.
like working like out there doing the work with the kids.
Nice.
He's hanging out with,
Yoda's doing
awesome.
Yoda things. That's what I was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's out there doing Yoda things. Like he's and he's out there. Like he's a journeyman and he's in the thick of
Cool.
everything going on.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
that's one really cool thing about Yoda. And it's
Nice.
also cool to have these Padawans. Like this was something I actually wasn't totally sure they were going to let me get away with, but it's a crew of Padawans out in the world together. And some of their most of their masters are back on the Starlight, and they're just out. Like there's some people in charge of them, but
Yeah.
it's like a sleepover party with a bunch of Padawans flying around on a gap year.
Nice.
Just trying to have some Padawan adventures, and they do.
Nice. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait. That's
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
Is that coming January? Yours too? Is all of it hitting January?
February.
February.
Okay.
February.
And
Right.
I'm not allowed to announce the artist officially, but he is incredible.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. It sucks when you can't announce
I know,
stuff. It's like,
right?
It's like, come on.
That's coming up, I think.
Right on.
Nice.
Right on. We'll keep an eye out.
Absolutely.
So to end this, Danny, we're going to play a quick round of just line talk. Just talk to you a couple of we already asked you, a little bit, but let's see. You said favorite Star Wars film out of all of them.
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Right on. How about non-Star Wars? What do you dig when you're not watching Star Wars?
Recently I've been watching Fargo. I love that show.
Okay.
I think one of my favorite movies of all time is The Godfather. 1 and 2.
Wow.
We don't speak of
You
3.
heard that, Joey?
Awesome.
Godfather. Joey likes mob movies, but he won't watch Godfather. I'm like,
What?
yeah.
I won't watch it. It's just I can't stay awake long enough.
And I told you this is
are you a Goodfellas fan? Is that what
Oh,
it is?
definitely.
That's what he is. Yeah, he's the 70s, 80s mob versus the 1950s and 40s.
Right.
30s,
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love. There's a lot of anime I love. Recently, Cowboy Bebop is just a classic.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop.
So good.
Nice.
And then I've been playing a lot of Switch during these quarantine days. So that
Smash Brothers, or what are you playing? Switch?
Breath of the
Zelda.
Wild. I'm behind.
Zelda. Yeah.
I just got it recently. So
Nice.
and then I'm catching up on Assassin's Creed because I
There you
never
go.
played it. So I also love pirates. So I've been,
Cool.
been playing Black Sails and
Yeah.
Nice.
Black Flag and watching Black Sails. And,
Right.
So
Right on.
all that stuff. These books behind me are something that I've been reading. Ghost Squad. For those of you that have kids, Ghost Squad by Claribel Ortega is amazing.
All right.
That's a
Right.
good book. Yeah, it's a middle grade. Really good. And yeah. Oh, and then wait, let me off myself. This is coming out in February. It's called Flood City. And they really made that kid look like John Boyega. I didn't tell them.
Yeah. You know what? I did see that. I did see that. Looking you up and stuff, and I saw that cover, and I was like,
I know. It's so funny because he looked even more like the kid is in the book. He's overweight. He's a fat kid, and like it's something that like he thinks about a lot and is real and important to him. And they just the kid that they got looked even more like John Boyega. And I kept being like, you have to make him larger. Like,
yeah.
One of the points of like this kid's story is just not. So they made him a little bigger, and he still looks just like Bob.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can't get away from it now. Now that's all you're gonna see.
But anyway, it's a middle grade book. It's for kids, and it is people who like Star Wars. It's very up their alley. It's,
awesome.
Basically,
nice.
the last city on Earth after floods have taken over, and it's a group of kids that are trapped there and just living their lives. And then the chemical barons, who are the people that caused the floods, and they went to space when it happened. Now come back and they try to get the city. So
love it.
Oh wow,
love it. Love dystopian books.
What's going to happen and how it's going?
I know. It's like I wrote this book 10 years ago, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I wrote it way back when I was just starting out as a writer. I'd written Shadow Shaper. I was waiting for something to happen with it, and getting rejected 40 times.
Right, ready for that 41st person.
Yeah, and I was just like, well, let me write another book. Damn. So
there you go.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Now I think you said it earlier. We're going favorite character, Star Wars.
Actually, Dr. Afra.
Dr. Afra.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Love it. That's not a common answer at all.
No, it isn't.
No.
Best, man. She is the best. Like Chris, what you were saying about like listening to stuff is kind of like relaxation. Like I do that with Dr. Afra comics.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
they're so good.
I binge them. I collect all the comics, and I'll just sit down. I'll pick up an Afra comic. I'll start reading, and next thing I know, I've gone through 10 of them.
I know, and that's again like I don't reread stuff, but that's one that I reread because it's so good.
Yeah.
But I really love all the Star Wars comics. Like it's really my
yeah.
I love Charles and stuff. I love it's just so good. Like it's great work.
Yeah. Awesome. So are you original, prequel, or sequel?
Original.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Of the prequels now, I'm gonna get here we go. This is the normal question I ask everybody.
Okay.
Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones.
What?
Whoa!
Oh, Chris, you
You're
scored
the first one.
You're now my favorite person ever.
Really?
You were the only
the
one.
Phantom Menace over Attack of the Clones?
Well,
they do.
No, don't say they. Now, Chris, you came up with this thing saying like Attack the Clones has got more of the prequel trilogy. He said it's got more of the epic meat of the story and the epic events of the sequence events that happen.
More reveals, more everything in that.
And I say no. That's not true, but you never said Attack of the Clones versus Revenge of the Sith, because I think Revenge of the Sith has
but I'm not arguing that one.
Exactly, but see,
the second best.
But if you're doing 1 and 2, when it comes to story, you're 100% right. Attack of the Clones has got the Star Wars story, But
for me, it's like
it's just
Jar
like
Jar. I'll be honest with you. God bless Ahmed Best. That guy's amazing. But the character itself.
Oh yeah, it takes you out of it. That's safe.
But also, young like kid Anakin, I just don't connect to.
No, and the pod race was too damn long.
The pod race is like an hour. There's a dog in it, and that's what saves it. So Boba saves the pod race.
Yeah.
Dog in my Fact Pop story, who's like a grizzled old dog, and that's all I'm gonna say about it.
There you go.
Right on. I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, you got that. Right. You got one for today.
You got one, Chris. You got one.
Who are these people saying that the Phantom Menace is the better movie? I'm confused.
Anybody we've ever had on, including Mark, right? Including Dominic Pace.
You know what it all comes down to is the Duel of Fates. That's what it comes down to. Everybody judges Phantom Menace on the 15-minute ending. That's really what it is.
It's one of my least favorite duels in Star Wars.
Really?
It is.
It is.
Sir, what are you doing?
Now I need to know what's your favorite duel in Star Wars.
I just had this conversation on a Discord like yesterday. I think the throne room in TLJ.
Yes.
I think the throne room in ROTJ is my second favorite, maybe.
Return of the Jedi, Luke Vader round 2 is the most, to me, that's the epic. That's so the time changing. It's emotional.
Yeah.
It's you got it's. Yes. I get goosebumps even just thinking about it. So.
Yeah.
Another classic, which we all know, is the Maul Obi-Wan rematch in Rebels.
I don't care how short it was.
The chess match.
Like
chess match.
Yeah.
Kurosawa.
Yep.
Everything about it. Also, I feel like we sleep on one just because it's so recent. but Maul versus Ahsoka.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Right.
Last one.
Right. No, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's a real good one.
remarkable. The music,
Yeah.
the effects, like the acrobatics, like all of that. For me, I'll be very honest with you. That last duel in episode 1, like it doesn't work for me because emotionally I don't feel it. Like it doesn't feel earned. I don't, I don't feel like they gave us what we needed to know about Maul to really.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Now we know.
Yeah.
At that time, he's just a henchman, really.
Yeah.
Like he's just a henchman.
Daniel, I bought before Phantom Menace came out. I had a Darth Maul jersey. I paid $100 for it. I had shirts, socks, toys. I said this guy's going to carry us all the way to the trilogy, and then you're going to have a Vader Maul duel at the end to get the right hand of the Emperor. Killed him off, and I was just like, I'm glad I didn't get a tattoo.
One line.
Yeah.
One line.
Right.
Which he whispered.
But to see what they did with him, brilliant. Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing a Vader Maul duel would have been really cool.
Yeah, that's what Chris and I with Theory Craft.
We almost got it in the Ahsoka versus Maul fight, mainly because Ahsoka was trained by Anakin.
Okay.
So I mean that's about as close as you can get.
Reach,
that's what Maul was. That's what Maul was trying. Yeah.
But we got the Ahsoka Vader duel, which is also one of the.
It is. Yes. Well, the Palpatine Savage Maul fight in the Clone Wars. That one was.
This is what you have to do. If you ask anybody favorite duels, you have to say live action or animation because the Emperor's Maul and Savage is just epic.
It's
to
epic.
me. You know what I mean?
I
and
think
emotional.
like a good comparison is like the end of Empire, that duel in the chamber.
Yeah.
Which is like not. He does like a backflip, but the choreography isn't like stupendous,
right.
But like the emotion of it is so strong, and Luke is so messed up by the end, and like he's sweaty, dirty, and a disaster. He's missing a hand. You know what I mean? Like, feel it. Whereas like when it's Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon, like they just it all feels very choreographed.
Yeah.
And you don't feel that emotion until that one thing happens.
Yeah.
And so it just doesn't like, even though they're doing amazing leaps and bounds and like all that. It doesn't click in the same way.
Yeah, I've never rated Duel of Fates up there in my top. It's always been the Luke Jet. It's always been like original trilogy stuff because it's again more emotional and stuff. And I do get the choreographic. That's the problem with the prequels. Over CGI'd, over choreographed, over like the real wooden acting, or I wouldn't say it was the direction. It could have been a whole bunch of things, but on paper they're brilliant movies. We look at it like.
If you read the book.
Yeah, if you read the books
they're
out there,
brilliant all the time.
They're great movies. We will never disregard those movies at all. But
I love looking at them as like the historical documents.
Again, gospel, right? We put them on our shelf as exactly.
Revenge of the Sith, like for giving us all those moments of Order 66. You know what I mean? Like, just that alone is like it's so cool from just a historical Star Wars point of view.
Yep.
I love that. Utapau and everything, and like
it's got its place, man. It does.
Yeah.
No. Right on. Hey, you know what? You're a big fan, so I'm going to ask you this.
Yep.
I can tell. I always worry because if somebody's on, I don't know how far to take it, but I can tell you're well versed here. So with Ahsoka's last arc, right? Where do you think that would place her in top Jedi that we've seen so far? Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, who else has like fought Vader to a standstill?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you could say she defeated him. Actually, you know who defeated Vader? Dr. Aphra.
Look at you.
Did y'all read that comic?
Yes.
She out-Vadered Vader. So multiple times, not for nothing. So I'm just saying, she's not the greatest Jedi, but no one else has done that. Like literally, nobody else has. It took Vader to take himself out, basically, is what happened. That's the only way anyone took him out. So I feel like that alone puts Ahsoka at the top.
Yeah.
That's where I have her. I basically she's more Jedi than any Jedi we've seen after that last arc for not killing the clones and everything.
Maul, right? Like
Well,
and she's not even a full Jedi, right?
Right. Nope. There's two moments in the entire Star Wars canon as we know it today. There's two moments that make the most Jedi thing ever. One is Ahsoka's not killing the clones, right? She says, "I'm not going to be the one to do it."
Ooh, that was
Luke's sacrifice at the end of Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Him projecting himself, sacrificing that.
Yes, that is also one of the greatest lightsaber duels of all time.
I think so.
Yes.
And it wasn't really a duel, but I mean, it was still. It was
And he
just,
wasn't even there.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
He phoned it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's so wild about
Yeah,
it. I
that
keep
was.
thinking about how like, and this let's not talk about Rise of Skywalker for a second.
Yeah.
But just like if you know that moment in TLJ where they call for help.
Yeah.
Like what if like we went from that moment to the moment in Rise of Skywalker where everyone shows
Just
up,
came in, yeah.
and then we just kept going. Like that would be the greatest duology of all time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it would.
We were all.
Faye and TLJ together, those movies are in such deep conversation. And
Yeah.
like I know that like there's beef or who knows. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Everyone says there's beef, whatever. Who knows
Exactly.
what? Those movies are like talking to each other, and they're like arguing with each other in a really interesting way, and like things are happening, and they're fulfilling it, you know. And like we get the Snoke moment where they're taking out a big bad, because at that point he was a big bad,
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So we have all those great beats of like a finale
Yeah.
in TLJ,
Yeah.
except that the folks don't show up.
Yeah.
And like, to me, like if you just cut and pasted, that would be such an epic duology.
Yeah, I was waiting for Lando or somebody to answer. I was
Yeah.
really waiting for that
And
moment
look,
of
that's
that.
not a knock on any of those movies. Like,
No,
it's the way
you're,
it has
you're
to
right.
work,
There's
you know?
always, yeah.
I really love how much those movies are in conversation. I think that's such a cool thing, and
Yeah.
they're really different. And yeah, they're like, you know, the Empire beats are kind of like the rhyme to Empire happens, and
Sure.
rhyme to New Hope.
That's the middle act. You always have to have something in dire
Yeah.
straits that you can't leave the characters on a happy note. Because there's where'd you go from there? You gotta,
Right.
you know. I mean, you're a writer, you know this.
No, but those are just two. They're just really great movies, and that just
I
I agree. All right, two easy ones here. Who's the better pilot, Han or Lando?
Woo!
Pilot now, pilot.
Pilot. Who
Like-
would you take if you had to go right now on a journey? Were you taking Han or Lando?
Lando's more reliable.
Yo.
Okay.
Lando
That's
is
fair.
more reliable.
I think Han has like probably more peaks, but also more valleys.
Yeah, but you do want. I think you want Han if you're escaping something. You want Han doing the
to run
to run.
to run away.
Yeah, because I think
Han also
Lando
has to
thinks he
deal
can.
with Leia.
Well, Lando thinks he can sweet talk his way out of it. Han Solo will go out. There's another problem. He'll go out guns blazing too.
Guns
so,
blazing.
so you're gonna die with Lando.
I feel like we don't give Lando enough credit for like
Han.
destroying the Death Star without
Right.
the Force assist.
Yeah. I meant Han,
Right.
but yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And like so you know, and that some of that fancy flying at the end of Return of the Jedi is to listen.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
No, absolutely.
I'm with Lando.
I couldn't do it.
Right. And you know what? And in Last Shot, you really made that stand out too. How Lando would sacrifice himself. This was the second big back to Last Shot, right? He sacrificed himself for the second time, basically.
Yeah.
Death Star run, and then in Last
I
Shot.
forgot about that moment, like at the very end there, when like everything is just bad.
Yeah, and he's giving in. He's like, okay.
He's like,
everybody's
you
gonna
know
be-
what? It's a wrap. Like, let me
Yeah.
do what I gotta do. Let me just take it all out with me, and we're just all
Nice.
gonna go.
Yeah, that was hero stuff. That was awesome.
Yeah,
That
Lando's
was
a hero.
awesome.
He always has been. He
Yeah.
pretends not to be, but he really is.
Right.
That's why I love him.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why I wanted to give him like love. You know, like
Mhm.
he's done so much. He's done so much for the galaxy. He's like lived his player life.
Sure.
I just thought it was a nice thing for him to like find someone that he wanted to settle down with, who's also badass.
Right.
Yes,
Yes.
Kasha is badass. So she can handle a pistol.
Yeah.
She can shoot too. That was
Yeah.
the thing. See, that's the stuff you said in there that cracks me up. I'm like, there's no way that's in a Star Wars book right now.
I really wanted to see her in Rise of Skywalker. I wanted
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
bad.
Me too.
Yeah, that was the hope.
What to say about
Yeah.
that?
On the Snyder cut, we'll get her. In the Snyder cut.
Awesome. All right. How about this? We got Mandalorian season 2 coming up. All right.
So excited.
You're a writer. What you? And I'm sure you've theory crafted. You heard all these cameos. What would you do, or what do you think might happen?
Honestly, this is gonna sound whatever, but I don't have time to figure it
Uh,
out. Write my own shit.
I hear you.
That's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
The
that's
thing I
fair.
love is like I just have no idea, and I like it that way, so I don't
Yeah.
even bother trying to figure it out. I've like peeked at some of the theories out there, and they're all super cool. I don't think we're gonna see Luke. That
Yeah.
seems like
Right.
a stretch.
Yeah.
A mention would be
Like,
just as
ow.
exciting for us, though. If they
Yeah.
mention Luke Skywalker, like I know this Jedi.
Oh, we
but-
know that guy. We
Or
know
you
that
know,
guy.
like what they refer to him in Aftermath is the what do they call him, Chris? The blonde hero or the
Bombshell.
yeah, something like that. It's like
forget.
blonde savior or something. So if
Right,
they refer
right,
to
right.
Luke, that's just enough excitement for me to even see him. You know,
but literally, like, how are they gonna like CGI Mark Hamill?
No. That's exactly, and I don't want that. Like, just mention him. That's it. Or not.
There's so much lore to develop.
Yeah. I don't want that. I
love Luke. Like, I love what they did with Luke. I love everything about Luke.
I do too.
He's one of my favorite characters. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we don't need to see him.
No,
it's a big galaxy. There's no reason.
We don't need that. We really don't need that tie-in. Now, the only tie-in is, Yoda being a Force sensitive, right? If they're going to bring in the Jedi Order, what Luke's trying to do, and he had to get, that's different if the mentioning of the new Jedi Order or the new something like that's totally
or
fine.
Keep this thing away from Skywalker.
Yeah, too.
I'd take that. I would take that and lose my mind just hearing that. So
yeah. Definitely. I'm really excited. I'm just curious. I have no idea.
Cool.
So, and that was the best thing about last season too, is we heard rumors early on about things that were going to happen. So we were expecting Mandalorian and IG-11 to be partners, right?
Right.
That they would be, they were going to be upset because IG-11 would always get offended that everybody thought he was IG-88 and that was Boba Fett. We heard these rumors and it was coming up right to the beginning. And when we saw him blast IG-11, we're like, what the hell?
In the first
they kind of ended up as partners a little bit at the end.
They sure did. Yeah. But they never were bummed out about being mistaken. So we don't take anything anymore.
It's all great.
At the end of the day, like, fan fiction is awesome.
It is.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I genuinely mean that. But like a lot of rumors are fan fiction, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Call them fan fiction. You know what I mean?
I wish they would just say that instead. But you know how it goes. Clickbait, right? They got to get paid.
Yeah, of course. I know. I get into my feed all the time, and I'm like, y'all jokers. Like,
right.
We always say if it's not on StarWars.com, then it's not true. And
exactly the truth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also, it's fun to find out when you're actually seeing it. Like, I don't even watch. I didn't watch the last Mando promo thing that went up yesterday.
I know a lot of people didn't either.
Why am I gonna watch that? I want to watch the show.
We're so close to it.
Right. That's not for me. I'm gonna watch the show. Like that's for people who are on the fence. Those 3 people in the world.
Right. They'll see a shadow. See Boba Fett.
We had made that point on the show and kind of got hit for it, saying they don't need to advertise at all because season 1 was the advertisement for season 2.
Exactly.
You're talking about the fence people. That's right. The 2 or 3 people that haven't seen it yet, those are the people that need to see that stuff.
Who are y'all?
Right.
It's one of the greatest shows like of all time. Like,
it's fantastic.
It's so good,
man. Hey, if they can get my mom to watch The Mandalorian, then they've done a great job.
I know. Exactly.
So tell us, you have any other projects coming up? We'll wrap it up with that. What you got going?
Do I do. I'm trying to think what I can say. I have this really cool graphic novel coming out in 2022, which is a while from now. But it's a friend of mine and I are writing it together, Malik Duncan, and it's like this concept where death comes back to Earth every 1,000 years to spend 24 hours with its only child, and the child is discovered by a process of divination that this group called the Eternal Order does to figure out who's Death's child, and then when they do it, they have to protect that child to make sure that when Death shows up, the child is there because Death, waited 1,000 years to spend this day with the kid. So when Death shows up on this day, the child has been kidnapped. And they have to go into a frenzy of investigations and murders to get to who kidnapped.
Murders.
Wow.
I'm intrigued.
That is a cool concept.
Really cool.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's really
cool.
Weird. It's really weird. And so that order is made up of different heads of different religions, right? So Death pays a visit to each of them and appears in the form that they know Death to take based on their faith.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a really cool story. So anyway, it's called Death's Day, and it comes out from Abrams' graphic novel. Abrams' book. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
we'll always keep a close eye on your career and everything because again, you've made us fans, and again, like I said, being into getting to the Star Wars stuff. I'm hoping, just like I am, exploring you. Just like, getting, the more of the Star Wars people are going to funnel through your works and all that stuff. So one big happy family. That's what Star Wars is. And keep it up, man. Yeah, this was awesome.
I had a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
I think we'll let him go, right, guys? He's great. I mean, thank you for staying the whole time. You're welcome back anytime to talk about it, especially when High Republic comes roaring into our lives, and our questions and our theory crafting goes off the wall, and we're gonna need some help, man. So,
all right, sounds good, man. Take care, everybody.
Hey, have a good night.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Right,
take care, man.
Right on. May the force be with you.
Yeah.
Right on, brother.
Wow, that was
cool.
That was cool, guys.
Coolest interview ever. There we go. I got nothing else, fellas.
Yeah, man.
And we're spent.
Yeah. Well, he put a lot of things in perspective, and I like his drive when it comes to the diversity subject, right?
He's passionate.
Right? But he also,
there.
and again, this is something that I've always said this growing up, and no one I think was blind to it. I've always said that too. Like, Star Wars, the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, does not do a good job at people of color diversity. I mean, not. And I noticed that, and like I said, we do put that in lore, right? We've put up in our minds, like, that at that moment the Empire was oppressive to even race or color, and then the new First Order again might not be the real thing, but we put it in that to explain that away, to explain that time period and stuff. And I think that people like Daniel right there does it for himself, because I heard an interview saying he never saw himself in these kind of sci-fi worlds and stuff like that, and that it makes you take a step back. It really does. You go like, you know what, you're right. Yeah. You're not represented, and I think that it needs to be a thing. And I think that's what the whole John Boyega thing was, right? His his drive and everything going forward.
And I think if everything is written and done the way that Daniel has written Last Shot and he's done in this book, we'll be fine. We can do that way. And he's shown how to do it, and just follow that, man.
Yeah, it's Star Wars, dude. There is no such thing as like us on Earth. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Anybody could be a Jedi. You could throw anybody in there, and I don't care. It's like you get to the point where it's like you don't care about people complaining about it. It just is what it is. I'll consume it. We'll put it on the wall with its other things, our gospels and all that, and just have fun with it, So
very cool. He's a good dude. Smart guy.
That's great. I can't wait to, like I said, delve into High Republic. It makes me more excited about High Republic. When people like him when he says stuff like, it's he was blown away by certain things, and he's a fan, right? And he's like, And like I said, our question is like, is this just going to be a Clone Wars adventure, or is this going to be a Mortis arc stuff going on, and the actual meat and potatoes of Clone Wars? Like, so
a whole time frame they're going to play in.
And I feel more confident now, right, after like the comments that these guys make, and it's like, heck, man, I let's go it, let's do it. The books are out, let's do it. I'm ready to go. So.
Again, Chris, props on the questions, man.
Yeah, you had that nailed down.
Killed it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
I guess that we can probably move on a little bit. We have a little bit more time. We got to talk about Mandalorian.
My mind is mush. Go.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, since we kind of
from here,
we kind of segued into the Mandalorian, season 2, which is only 9 days away. It's next week. It's next Friday. Next Friday, guys.
We should have asked Daniel if he wants to do a watch show with us. Like, go live and watch and critique it.
I'll text.
He'll be like,
he'd want to. Yeah.
He'll be like,
Mike's like, no. Mike.
No, I said I bet you'd want to.
Oh, gotcha. Good. Felt sarcasm, Mike.
Sarcasm, yeah. What he did mention that Mandalorian season 2, the new trailer that dropped on Monday Night Football, right? And again,
which was nothing.
Well, exactly. It was just more extended versions of the first trailer. I got a lot of people asking me. They're not watching because they don't want to know anymore at this point. They don't want to see Ahsoka in the trailer. They don't want to know. They just want to be surprised in the show if that is something that comes to fruition. I was just like, you know what? You have nothing to worry about. You can watch this. It's just an extension of what we have already seen.
Kind of feel like they're getting smarter with their trailers / commercials that they're doing, like their promos. I mean, they're not giving too much to where it's like, you feel that you're not feeling like you've got the whole season revealed. You just got like, just enough. You know what I mean?
They did that with season 1. They didn't give us nothing, obviously, because we didn't know anything that was going to happen. So it was awesome. We didn't know about the ATST with the evil eyes. We didn't, none of this stuff.
Baby Yoda,
the carbonite freezing. Any of this.
Yeah.
So,
remember what you said, Chris, when you said that you felt like prior to that, when the rumors were coming and we felt like Mando and IG-11 were going to be like in cahoots, and then what they kind of did in the very first scene was shoot him in the head to make it feel like you were like they were smashing that.
Yeah, like you got killed immediately. I hope they do that to everything.
Yeah.
I hope.
Here, guys, I know what you guys thought, but this is what's happening. Boom.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard
everybody in episode 1. Everybody.
Yeah, you want. Yeah. Well, we've heard a lot of things like this is an emotional season, this is an epic season. You guys are gonna be blown away and everything. And
Nothing season 2.
Okay, I do get worried about that because when you build it up so high like that, just like go to anything else. Like how many things have compared themselves to the next Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
We'll use Green Lantern.
Right.
Where this is the next Star Wars, this generation Star Wars. No, it's not. It's just we prep ourselves up for something being big and great.
Yeah.
They said that
about Stargate, and I absolutely hate that movie.
Yeah, they say it a lot of times.
This next generation.
Yeah.
Exactly, never is.
They say Thanos is this generation's Vader, and he's not.
Not even close, honestly. It's two separate people, yeah. Two separate mind frames and everything. So anyway, yeah, that's again, hype is hype. It's good to do it because we do it. We get into it, we get involved because it's substance, and I have to go into it almost like season 1 did to us with Mandalorian. Like, you know what? Anything goes, really. Season 1 was very gutsy, very ballsy. They did what they had to do. They killed off people. They brought them back. They killed them again. They revealed things, and they set up more questions than answers, right? And that's what you do. And you build this thing. If you want this to go for 10, 15 years,
Am I right? Did they cut the directors in half to what was it, to 3 or 4 of them, or?
Oh, I don't know. You know what? The good question. I don't know.
It did. It did.
Okay.
It's not a new director every time. It's a lot of Favreau.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. I thought I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of like the Disney shows, of course, we got I just want to get through this and then we can probably call it a day. Yeah, because my head's like mush. But yeah, Obi-Wan is confirmed to be filming in March of next year.
Yeah.
He already did his test in the outfit. Did you see that?
Yeah.
They said it was probably during.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Probably during they didn't show it. It was his interview, and it was they're figuring it out the way he was talking. But it was actually during season 1 of Mandalorian when he went in there, and this is from his mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
That he walked into the dressing room and there was the tan tunic and pants and everything. He's all, well, there's my outfit. Like it was his from the seat. He knew it was his.
Yeah.
And went in there and he had to try it on in the what do we call it again? The volume.
Yeah, the volume,
right?
The screens. Yeah.
He goes in there and he had to test it in there because that's apparently how they're filming it. So he's in there testing with Deborah Chow.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
So cool.
And since Chow wasn't directing any in season 2, that's why everybody's thinking it must have been in season 1, unless she just made some kind of random trip out there to use the stuff. Right?
Well, I mean, they have it there. It makes sense that they would go to one location to kind of like set, coordinate.
Yeah.
They're not going to build like 5 volumes all around the world just for convenience. They got this one, and everybody comes there, and yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad to know that's still. They got to keep that in our heads. They really like Star Wars again with not having movies, right? They got to keep that kind of stuff refreshing. They got to get really like throw tidbits into us all the time. Like there was no celebration, so we didn't get any Cassian stuff. But I'm expecting Cassian to heat up soon.
After Mandalorian,
yeah,
I think
behind
after
the scenes shot something. There's got to be something because I don't think the production was halted.
I bet you the weekend. No, it's actually happening right now. I thought
like paused. I didn't think it was paused. So
no,
yeah.
And then I have a feeling right after like a week or 2 after we'll get something for Cassian. If not on the last episode, maybe the last episode will have a tease for it.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Let's go right into something else. Like man,
that'd be cool.
I can't wait till we do that. So yeah. Disneyland's not going to be opening anytime soon. So
next summer, maybe.
Yeah, next summer, maybe if California gets their stuff together, which we are. I think we are.
We're doing better than New Mexico and Texas, right?
Yeah, but
absolutely.
I thought they're on their 3rd wave of the highest, as far as the outbreak.
Who, California or?
The 7th.
Not us. No, I mean we're just
not California, but just overall. I'm just saying. I'm just saying like that's out there. Like it's like the 3rd.
Of course. Well,
I'm just waiting for the alarm to go off and everybody say you can go back to your business. That's all I'm waiting for. Just
right.
Back to your business.
Or you're waiting for our alarm to wake us up, going like this has been a nightmare.
Yeah. No kidding. But anyway, it's I saw that the regulations on Disney. I was just like, man, I get it, but at the same time.
So what were the regulations now? What are they trying to do?
Not until I guess they got this color coded system, right? And not until
you've got to be in the yellow tier, which is one of the second to last least restrictive or something.
Yeah,
orange is the last.
We're in red, and they have to be. So orange is you can up to 500 people or 25% of your capacity, whichever is less. So that's out of the question. Disneyland's not going to open up for 500 people. And then yellow is 25% of the total capacity, no matter what the capacity is. And because there's a give and take. It's like, okay, yeah, you can infect one person out of 100,000, but you can't. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing. But anyway.
It's a numbers game.
We're keeping our ears to the ground on that because, again, it's something very important to us. Not just for Disneyland, just for the health and safety of the world, man. We got to get out of this thing, So I'm doing my part.
For the employees who got laid off.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. It really is. You know, it's hard, but just everybody stay with it. This is why we do Star Wars. This is why we come here every other Wednesday and talk this stuff because it escapes everything. And having a guest like that would just blows it over the top. So. Everybody, thank you. Chris, thank you very much again for spearheading that.
Good job, Chris.
The questions, reaching out to Daniel, and getting that going too. So much props for that. So let's get out of here. You guys want to go? Let's go and watch The Last Jedi.
Only because I'm hungry.
Let's do it. I'm gonna go watch Attack of the Clones again. Attack of the Clones, punks, take it.
Yeah, there's one versus like 6 or something.
It was a big one.
It was a big one. I will give that to you, Chris. I haven't said my piece. I have not committed to a Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones. That was between you and Scott.
I feel like you've committed many times.
I've never committed to those two movies. That was an argument between you and Scott. So I just want to let you know.
Me in the world.
I just sat back and smiled and waved at this point. So, yeah. Okay, Chris.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
Where can we find you, Chris?
You can find me on Hot Topic Podcast or any of the socials under Sarlacc Digest. I usually respond back fairly quick. Obviously, unless I'm working. And then besides that, I was on Carbonite Combos this last week with Nick and Alec. That was fun. Talking about Funko collections and a little bit of our show. So that was neat.
Yeah, that was fun.
We'll have to have them on one day too.
They made new fans out of me because of that show. I got to see them. I was like, man, this is cool. Even though it's all like pops, I'm still interested. Still live vicariously through that stuff.
That was their Funko Friday show, right? They do other stuff.
Yeah,
they did a whole thing on the Infinity Stones, like a stone per week type of thing.
Nice.
And they do Marvel's news, Spidey news.
Yeah.
The
less relevant stuff. I got it.
Right, the less relevant stuff, but they mainly Star Wars, of course.
Of course.
Right on. But that's it. So, and I'll be going after Kevin Scott. Kevin Scott, he said he had fun.
Nice.
See you in a minute.
That's right.
There you go. Awesome. Scott Solo, the nerds are dropping stuff. The nerds, not all of them, right? But there's a couple nerds that are dropping stuff.
Kevin and I, yeah.
Kevin and you, yeah. I didn't want to say it. I just waited for you to say it.
We are the Nerds with Attitude. We've dropped a Nerds with Attitude episode, and then just yesterday we dropped our part 2 of the A through Z Nerd Tunes extravaganza. So
very cool.
You can tune in on nerdswithattitudepodcast.com or just, wherever you find us.
Very cool.
Look us up on iTunes or something. Cool. I don't know.
Nice. Mike,
you can also find me.
Yeah. Sorry.
Wait.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The Art of Scott Solo on Instagram.
Yes. Please check that out.
There we go.
And guys, you know where to find Fanboy Mike. It's just here, pretty much. I mean, a lot of times I'm not on the show because of work, and I apologize.
No, but you're here now, so that's what counts, right?
You were here for Daniel Jose Older.
Yeah.
He was on there. He was on our show.
He was on our show.
That was pretty dope.
Awesome.
And he had a good time.
He really did. He wanted to stay. That's awesome.
Well, so he says. He's a storyteller.
Yeah. Awesome. Bootleg Joe, you dropped a toy review, and you keep dropping these toy reviews, and I love them, man. So keep them up.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on SH Figure Arts, Mandalorian, and the Child.
Nice.
So, but they're really complicated figures. I tried it earlier today. I was talking to you about it. I tried it earlier today, and he's a complicated figure, but he's awesome.
Nice.
So I'm gonna start working on that pretty soon.
Cool.
And you got it for like $60 for the set, right?
Times, not even.
I'm trying to help you out, bro. Don't blow it.
Times 2 plus 30.
I know she's watching.
Oh shoot!
I don't know.
Yes, $60, about 60.
$60. What was I trying to say?
Yeah, right.
It's something. Yeah, they're pretty pricey, but again, sometimes 90% of the time you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Figure Arts, they're top of the line in a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they articulate with their articulation, their sculpts, but you get your 1 or 2, 3 that Black Series will top it.
Nice.
Just the price, the whole price difference and everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna mess with it a little bit more and see how I can safely do a review on it without breaking them on camera.
There you go.
Oh, is he that fragile?
And if you do, it is the review, so it's
Super fragile.
Really? Okay,
and then you post that review and send it right to him.
Yeah, maybe they'll send you like 3 more for free because
right.
Yeah, right. They're gonna be sitting there laughing.
I was gonna buy one, and now I'm thinking twice.
Okay,
wait for the review.
Okay, well, check this out. I saw 3 reviews on it. Watching 2, I was like, okay, I'm good. But I watched one from Adam from Urban Spidey, and he sold me on it. And I was like, whoa, because the way he presented it, the way he reviewed it, and I was like, wow, I got to get that. And also with the child SH Figure Arts figure, the facial the faces on this one it's awesome. Awesome figure. You'll see on the review, but it's got its downsides that the Black Series version doesn't have.
Gotcha.
That's positive. So, but yeah, I'll compare both the Child and the Mandalorian Black Series and SH Figure Arts to show you guys the difference, and we'll go from there.
Cool.
Awesome.
Nice. And the 6th member who is not here today, Ernie the Fallen Fett, you can catch him over at Toy Migos and How We Do Disney. I know that he did get that Diamond Select Boba Fett.
Yep.
And I think he's doing an opening on that. So
what?
Yeah, I know.
Right? I bet that was the caveat of getting it.
Probably.
I'll give it to you, but you gotta open
it. Yeah, he'll do
probably.
it. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing his reaction to that because I'm on the fence on that. Like Scott and I always thought a new line.
Well, you're gonna get the Vader.
Yeah, if it's Vader, I'll definitely get him.
You'll get the Vader.
Absolutely. I'm gonna get the Vader. That's like a hands down thing. And again, pose him, put on the shelf, and worship him from afar.
And watch him fall over 10 times a day.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully Diamond Select doesn't have the ankle joints that they do on those Ghostbusters figures, guys. But yeah, so catch Ernie over there, catch him on here. I know we did this a little early today, and I think he had a doctor's appointment, all that too. So he's
he was taking a dump, had to get his prostate. He couldn't be here, guys.
Also,
let's get real personal.
Yeah, I got
colonoscopies aren't a joke.
Okay? Exactly.
Oh.
Also, everybody
Marco,
in the
where
chat,
can we find you?
I'm here, man. You know where to find me. I'm always here, dead center in the frame, and trying to get this thing moving along. And also telling people to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification for all our content. We got toy reviews coming. Our Cantina nights are still streaming every Friday. We are Friday and Saturday. Let's put it that way. Our little 2-minute to 7-minute episodes of our Cantina night, making the drinks from Batu. I think they're very fun. I'm still waiting for people to actually do that at home and send in their responses to the recipes. And I don't know if we have any failures coming up on that. Maybe there might be a failure one coming up soon. But stay tuned for that.
Who's next?
I believe Ernie is next.
Ernie's next.
Yeah, Ernie, me, and then you again. Because we just dropped yours, yeah.
There's a few fails then.
I haven't seen mine yet.
Yeah, Joe.
Oh wait, okay. So Ernie, Joey, me, and then I think I went second to last, right? Or I don't know.
Yeah,
it's in the little time.
It starts to get blurry right about now.
It does, yeah. I'm like. Anyway, check those out, guys. Thank you everybody for your support and everything that has been checking out our site. And again, make sure you subscribe and stuff because we're really trying to build this thing and get the Star Wars talk into the community a lot. Just concentrated here. Check out our website, sarlaccdigestpodcast.com. That's where you'll find all the latest and greatest news and reports and blogs and videos, everything. So it's all going to be on one station for you. So with that, guys, I think we're done, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
all right.
I'm good.
Cool.
May the force be with you.
Keep it nerdy, everybody.